The Democrat government shutdown ended. The Democrats blinked. More pressure put to release the memo, the 4-page memo by Congressman Nunes' staff regarding the FISA. In addition, the shadow government and the deep state uncovers unbelievable depth and width. And the FBI, well, based on text that came out, there was an FBI secret society that met right after President Trump was elected. Hi, this is Jack Easum with TrumpRepublican.news. It's great to be with you today. There is so much news happening, and so many things in Washington, D.C. are unwinding, exploding, going like crazy. So we're going to talk about a few things just to kind of get a little bit of background and understanding on this. The Democrat government shutdown. Yeah, it was shut down by the Democrats. Why? Because they wanted illegal immigrants to get amnesty, the DACA people and other ones, so that they can use those illegal immigrants to vote. Now, just to kind of prove that point, in California, they just got a ruling from a federal judge that when you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles to get a license, you are automatically registered to vote. Automatically. Well, that's a little bit different, because even though when illegal aliens and illegal immigrants have the ability and privilege to get a driver's license in California, they had to affirmatively state that they wanted to register to vote. Now, just anyone. Now, you and I both know that a lot of these people like that aren't going to vote, but believe me, there are plenty of organizations out there that will be happy to cast that vote for them. That gets into another topic called voter fraud, which we'll talk every Friday. Voter Fraud Fridays, Voter Fraud Fridays, Voter Fraud Fridays. Yeah, we're going to address that issue in bulk. Well, anyway, the shutdown has ended. I'm glad about that. The Democrats blinked. One of the side events that occurred on this over the weekend, there was a dinner. Pelosi invited, and I guess 172 members of the Democrat Congressional group attended in Washington, D.C. at a restaurant. As I recall, it might have been an Italian restaurant, or maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part, because it just tastes so good. But during that meeting, wouldn't you have liked to have been a fly on the wall and heard what was going on? Something tells me during that meeting, people weren't buying into what was going on with the shutdown, that they were going to blame it on the Republicans. And everyone there just basically, I believe, started to understand that they were being blamed for the shutdown. Not a good thing if you're running for election and every single congressman in the room was going to be running for re-election, because they all have to run every 2 years. So I thought that was rather interesting on the shutdown. And Donald Trump, I like this guy so much. I can't begin to tell you. He wrote a tweet 21 hours ago from the taping here. And he said, "Big win for Republicans as Democrats cave on shutdown. Now I want a big win for everyone, including Republicans, Democrats, and DACA, but especially for our great military and border security. Should be able to get there. See you at the negotiating table." Well, subsequent to that tweet, I just read a report that it's broken down in terms of the negotiations. It seems the Democrats don't like what's being negotiated. Well, there you go. Well, the next thing that Donald Trump tweeted today was deals with fake news and CNN. Even crazy Jim Acosta, fake news, CNN agrees. Trump, world and White House sources dancing in the end zone. Trump wins again. Schumer and Dems caved, gambled, and lost. Thank you for your honesty, Jim. Well, every once in a while, I guess even CNN tells the truth. But don't expect it too much, folks. Well, this leads me into a little more of the more complicated aspects that are happening. You know, there's a Release the Memo effort that everyone's having. It's basically these 4 pages that Congressman Nunes' staff from the House Permanent Intelligence Committee has put together based on a number of information, facts, and evidence that have come in. But Donald Trump tweeted today, one of the biggest stories in a long time, the FBI now says it is missing 5 months' worth of lovers Stroh's and Page texts, perhaps 50,000 and all in prime time. Wow. Yeah, the basic story on that is there's 50,000 texts between these 2 anti-Trump FBI personnel that have gone missing. Oh, what a strange thing. How could that happen? Don't worry about it, folks. It's probably with Hillary's 30,000 missing emails as well. But we're going to come back to that in just a second. Let's finish up with the Donald J. Trump tweets at Real Donald Trump. Nobody knows for sure that the Republicans and Democrats will be able to reach a deal on DACA by February 8th. That's when the new budget bill that just got passed runs out. But everyone will be trying, with a big additional focus put on military strength and border security. The Dems have just learned that a shutdown is not the answer. Well, he's just reinforcing what we were just saying. And, you know, this is kind of a nice thing that President Trump did. He tweeted a thank you to General John Kelly, who's doing a fantastic job, and all of the staff and others in the White House for a job well done. Long hours and fake reporting makes your job more difficult, but it is always great to win, and few have won more than us. Well, you know, hats off to everybody in the White House for all the work and long hours they were putting in trying to make this deal work to get the budget passed. Mr. Trump, it looks like you've assembled some really hardworking people there around you, and I hope the wins just keep on coming. You know, the release on this memo related, well, to national security and surveillance of President Trump and his campaign team while President Obama was still in office is a little bit confusing to some people, but the memo they're talking about is a compilation of all the evidence and facts and other kinds of correspondence and evidence that the staffers at the Intelligence Committee have been able to review with, you know, they have top security clearances. Anyway, they put together a memo, and that memo deals with FISA. And, you know, if you don't, you know, I don't know, all these initials, I get lost in them sometimes, but FISA, what does it stand for? It stands for Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which was back in 1977, signed into law in 1978 by President Carter. But it's foreign intelligence surveillance is basically to protect America from foreign spying and things like that, to set up a procedure. As part of that, the United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court was created, the U.S. federal court, and it was established and authorized under that law, the Act of 78, to request surveillance warrants against foreign spies inside the United States by federal law. Okay. So what happened in this case, the FBI put together information, including that fake Russian dossier, and used that as supporting evidence to go to the FISA court to try to get warrants so that they can do surveillance on Donald Trump and his campaign staff and anyone related to it under the cover that it has to do with the Russians and Russian spying and getting into it. Well, we already know that that's fake, and bottom line is it's false what they were doing. But anyway, they did get the surveillance, the wiretaps, who knows what else was implemented in order to follow Donald Trump and all of his campaign staff. And that's why this is so important, because how fair is it to have fake evidence to a court? That's called fraud on the court. And there are people, based on this 4-page memo, that are probably going to be going to prison. Don't feel sorry for them. They know the law. They knew the law then. and they still tried to circumvent it just so they could get all the info on Donald Trump they could possibly get in an effort to get Hillary elected. So this is kind of a critical thing. And when this memo does get released, and Congressman Nunes, Trey Gowdy, and Congressman Ratliff they had a meeting over the weekend as well, not at a fine Italian restaurant like the Democrats, but they had a meeting, and they went over the whole memo and trying to get it released. They're trying to do a fast track on it to get it out to the American public. Now, they will not give the memo to the Department of Justice or the FBI. Now, that might sound strange to you, but not when you hear the rest of what I'm saying. There is a secret society, anti-Trump, in the FBI, and apparently also in the Department of Justice. They're anti-Trump. They will do anything to resist him, and they were trying to get him impeached and or some other legal grounds to go after him and get him out of office. Now, these are supposed to be objective FBI agent types that are going to, enforce the law. Just the opposite. Just the opposite. They ignore Hillary, and then, they were just totally anti-Trump. But they even said in some of their texts, it was revealed today, this guy Strzok and his girlfriend Paige, they were texting back and forth about the FBI secret society to have a meeting the day after President Trump was elected, and that's what did happen. Wow, a secret society, something new and different in the world, huh? Ever heard that phrase before? Sure, there's always a secret society somewhere trying to pull something. Well, when I heard this, it reminded me of a lot of the, complaints, if you will, against Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General. And if you have secret societies, secret cabals, secret gangs of people that are anti-Trump and pro-Hillary or pro-Democrat under you in the administration, and you're trying to accomplish things, boy, are you meeting a brick wall, because they can't see it. They don't know where the information does. Oh, those 50,000 texts were gone. We don't know where her emails went, and so on and so on and so on. But what's happening, so much information is coming out on the illegality that was going on within the FBI and probably within the rest of the Department of Justice. And this is very disconcerting, because when these types of groups start to gather, they basically are going around the law. And these actions that they're taking are so serious that literally it could have brought down the country in some way. Well, anyway, Gowdy, Ratliff, Nunes, they're on it. And they're trying to get the information out to the public here, just us regular Trump Republican citizens out here, so we can share the information. When that comes out, I'll be sure to post it and let you share it with as many people as you would like. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, Monday he announced that the Justice Department will investigate all of those missing texts, the 50,000 or so. And he came after, pressure from the White House and the GOP to look into the matter. He said, we will leave no stone unturned to confirm with certainty why these messages are not now available to be produced, and will use every technology available to determine them, whether the missing messages are recoverable from another source, and they probably are. But anyway, this is what Sessions said in a statement. The president and his allies have described Mueller's Russia investigation as a witch hunt. And I want to point out, Strzok actually was part of the Russia investigation under Mueller, but in July, Strzok, he was an FBI guy, he was removed from the investigation as the texts started to be revealed. So, yeah, was President Trump getting a fair shake there? I don't think so. But it tells us a whole lot about what's been going on in the government. And I want to make a short comment, and we'll wrap it up. Not too long ago, I heard a presentation by former CIA operative Kevin Shipp. He was on the Greg Hunter USA Watchdog show, and he stated, it's far deeper and wider the effects of the shadow government, which is predominantly in the CIA, and the deep state, which is predominantly the military-industrial complex. And I want to share as well some reports I have heard from all kinds of different sources. Can you name 10 names that are in the deep state? How about 10 names from the shadow government? Can you name them? Names? What are the names of these federal judges that have thwarted President Trump's efforts? You know, oftentimes you have to get name, rank, and serial number in order to find out where the real enemies lie. And there are a lot of enemies that are located in our government, enemies of the United States as we know it in the Constitution. Well, understanding how deep the shadow government is and how deep the deep state is just a part of the understanding of why Trump Republicans are needed so desperately by President Trump. They're fighting him at every single place, and he needs our support. He needs us to assist him and to help elect Trump Republicans into Congress so that he can deliver on the promises he made during the campaign and his agenda. Well, that's it for today. It's covered a lot of territory. Your takeaway is that the FBI has a secret society that's anti-Trump, and it looks like part of the DOJ, Department of Justice, has some secret societies as well. But, okay, so we know something more now about who's who and, you know, who we're up against. But remember, as President Trump says, keep moving forward. Never, ever give up. God bless.